here. First of all, I want to thank everybody for joining me today for this webcast. Today we're going to look at DRV FlexTools solutions for the IBM iSeries and AS400, designed to help you modernize your IBM report and document management as well as system monitoring. My name's Christopher David. I'll be providing an overview of these solutions to explain what they do and suggest ways they can help modernize your environment and maximize the investment you already have in your IBM system. These days we hear a lot about big data. We're inundated with tons of information faster than we can process it. Part of the reason is how it's being delivered and in what format, especially when it's coming in the form of paper that requires manual processing. Think about how much time's wasted filing, retrieving, copying, searching for missing documents that contain the information that's needed to conduct business and make critical business decisions. DRV FlexTools offer a way to bring your report and document processing management into the 21st century, replacing paper-based manual processing with paperless automation, using software to free up time, deliver critical data in user-friendly formats, and see an immediate return on investment. If you're familiar with paper-based manual processing, you'll recognize this simplified, labor-intensive workflow. Besides eliminating loud, obsolete printers and paper waste, automating a paperless process streamlines resources and puts information into the hands of the people that need it faster. This graphic illustrates the evolution of process management, moving from manual paper-based to digital output. This process can be incremental, allowing you to ease into a new but vastly more efficient management of the entire life cycle of reports and documents. Now, the benefits of going to an automated paperless process would seem obvious, but maybe the dollar figures associated are not quite so. I've seen studies by Cap Ventures and the Gartner Group that state that document management consumes up to 15% of an organization's annual corporate revenue when you take into consideration printing costs, storage costs, inventorying, filing, searching for lost files, etc. The labor costs associated with paper-based manual processing are simply staggering. Automated paperless processing eliminates the paper waste and associated man hours, and perhaps more importantly, puts the information in the hands of the people that need it to make the business decisions needed for your company to stay ahead and focus your efforts on core responsibilities instead of paper chasing. There are two main components involved in managing paperless processing: report distribution and document management. By reports, I refer to day-to-day reports that would include things like sales reports, finance reports, inventory, payroll reports, etc. Documents would include forms that you exchange with business partners, like purchase orders, invoices, statements, bill of lading, shipping documents, etc. Manual processing would include printing, manual bursting and distribution, mailing, couriers, and then analyzing the printed page for the relevant data. These processes can be streamlined and eliminated with electronic reports and documents that can be emailed and archived. SpoolFlex is an example of that, taking what would normally be printed out on a report and allowing you to output that to a variety of user-friendly formats. SpoolFlex can convert spool data directly into a variety of formats, including those you see here. The most popular by far are PDF and Excel. Because SpoolFlex runs natively on the IBM system, you have a standardized method to export reports without the disadvantages of PC-based solutions such as per-user licensing and additional hardware. It's menu-driven, so you don't have to worry about remembering a bunch of commands or keying wrong parameters. And if you ever need help, you can always call on DRV for assistance. SpoolFlex is a modular software solution. The base product is called the e-delivery module. That's the piece that allows you to convert your spool files to PDF, Excel, CSV, text, Word, etc., etc. The advanced utilities automate the e-delivery module, allowing you to take a report and burst it apart, convert it, and then deliver it with automated distribution by email or pushing files out and archiving them onto a server. We also have a tool called the audit trail, which allows you to search, view, retrieve, and if necessary, resend reports and documents for on-demand company-wide access. With just a couple of keystrokes, using output definitions, you can go from a standard spool file directly to PDF, spreadsheets, etc. This is perfectly formatted. It requires no further tweaking. Colorizing and highlighting make the analysis easier. And you're not going to have to go back and cut and paste things just to make it readable, and you don't have the same issues you would have if you're doing it manually and risk the chance of data loss. Once it's in an electronic format, you have the ability to set up the automation with the advanced utilities we spoke of. With automated report distribution, you can deliver Excel and PDF reports instantly, in real time, not days after it's relevant. Copies can be archived to a server for company-wide access. You can incorporate advanced formatting options too. Let's look at the document management side of this. With our FormFlex software, you can create electronic forms. Some people refer to these as overlays, but electronic form is probably a more appropriate term because it's not simply a transparency overlaying spool file. It's actually a dynamic form that can be easily manipulated, and it can change depending on data within the spool file itself. Here's an example of a spool file that might normally be printed on a pre-printed continuous form. With an electronic form, you can see the result. You can add lines and boxes, images, logos, barcodes, etc. You can get a very professional looking form. This is what represents your company. I have a lot of our clients out there that say, oh, we do that in-house. We just use our own overlays. Well, I understand that. It can be done. But I have a question. Would you let your marketing department do programming on your system? Probably not. So the question I have is, why are you having programmers do marketing? And that's exactly what the forms are, is a form of marketing, because they represent your company. And it's an opportunity to get in front of your customers every single time you exchange these documents. So it should be professionally designed. FormFlex lets you do that, adding lines, boxes, static text, signatures even. Everything can be conditional based on data in the spool page. It eliminates pre-printed continuous forms by letting you print to either a laser printer or output directly to PDF. Many of our customers have discovered they no longer need to print file copies. Instead, FormFlex automatically files electronic copies as PDF and stores them on a server, and they're easily text searchable. When it's time to retrieve them, they search, and they can easily access them from any desktop in the system for company-wide access. FormFlex is also a modular solution. The base product, FormFlex, allows you to create forms, and it even allows you then to print those out to a laser printer. You can create unlimited number of forms. We sell it as a turnkey solution so that we'll do the design work for you. We have professional designers, but if you want a do-it-yourself solution, you can create your own forms if you wish. It's included, the editor is included with the software. We also have a tool called Secure Checks for printing negotiable items like accounts payable checks, payroll checks, commission checks, that sort of thing. Printing the micro, line, logo, signature, everything in a single pass to an off-the-shelf HP-compatible laser printer that you can get a microtoner for. We also have the ability to output forms to PDF using our form converter. And we also have an interface to internet faxing called E2Fax. If you are still faxing documents like purchase orders, that's a great tool. And the less you use it, the less it costs. Very inexpensive approach to faxing. FormFlex modular approach gives you the ability to eliminate physical storage and the manual handling of expensive pre-printed forms and checks, giving you the ability to print these laser forms with dynamic logos that can be conditioned on data in the spool file, adding barcodes, lines, etc., and then printing to the laser printer. If you add the second level, which would be the PDF output, you can then take that electronic copy that you've created and then convert it to PDF and push that out to a network server. Then, if you wish, you can add the distribution, the paperless automation, if you will, for processing it. Instead of having to stuff and fold envelopes and spend a small fortune on envelopes and postage, they can automatically be emailed. The more email addresses you have, the greater the savings. Email doesn't cost anything. FormFlex can be used to replace just about any kind of pre-printed form or check with crisp, clean, laser-printed documents that print the form and the data, logos, and signatures all in a single pass. The merged document can then be converted to PDF and managed in the same methods as SpoolFlex, including electronic invoice and statement delivery. One of the great benefits by combining these tools is illustrated here. If you were to set up, for example, or replace, I should say, a traditional manual filing process with electronic processing, the software will automatically file electronic copies, perhaps on a network server, that are text searchable. Imagine this. You have an accounts receivable report that's generated by SpoolFlex. Your clerk is able to quickly identify in a spreadsheet who is past due and can call the customer. What's the customer typically going to say? I didn't receive that, so go ahead and send it to me again, which maybe would require going into a filing cabinet, pulling out a file drawer, locating the file, perhaps copying the invoice or statement, and then either faxing it or remailing it. In other words, you're not going to get paid anytime soon. Or if they had it automatically PDF'd and copied to a network's drive, you could just double-click on the customer statements folder, do a quick search using Windows search tools, locate the correct statement, and email it while you have the client on the phone. You have guaranteed receipt by verbal acknowledgement, and you're going to get paid a lot faster. You can see how this streamlines a simple process dramatically. Now, report and document management are huge. Now, there's some other underlying currents. For example, sometimes reports really aren't designed to go into Excel. They're just not. One of the most common is when you see, for example, a single record on a spool page that word wraps. You might have one record on 3 or 4 lines. Now, if you wanted to put that into Excel, it's going to put each of those rows, each of those lines in an individual row, which is going to make sorting a nightmare. It's just not going to work. That's where ReportFlex can help. ReportFlex is a file reformatter, allowing you to change the spool file without any programming. The most common application that we have for ReportFlex is to move lines, like I mentioned, multi-line records, into a single line. You can also insert page breaks. You can repeat data down the page. You can even add calculations. ReportFlex is a standalone product, but most clients will use something like ReportFlex in conjunction with SpoolFlex if they have spool files that have these issues with level breaks or the multi-line records. J.D. Edwards reports are classic examples, as are Infinium reports, for being formatted this way. Well, if you have either of those applications, you probably aren't going to want to go in and make source code changes to redesign your spool files. ReportFlex gives you a tool to do that without making any changes programmatically to your core application. Here's a close-up example of a multi-line report. You can see it starts here with a customer number and the name, and then here's the first line of data, here's the second line of data. What ReportFlex can do is move this line up and over, and this line over and up as well. With the result being lined up, we've repeated the data down the page, and it now will go into an Excel spreadsheet, whereas before it would have been a mess. If we'd have tried to sort something like with the multi-lines, everything would be discombobulated and nothing would match up any. But this way, it's all lined up exactly perfect. Now, if you're going to be using automated processing, it just makes sense to have a closer eye on your system to make sure that it's working perfectly day in and day out. And the IBM Power System has a great reputation for uptime and smooth running, but they're not perfect. No computing platform is. The key to maximum uptime is to watch for symptoms that could identify potential issues and act on them before they become problems. Now, the IBM Power Systems do a great job telling you how the system's performing if you have the time to monitor for them. But how can the system alert you if you're not at a console? Now, if you have enough staff, you can assign someone, and they can periodically look for messages that you really hope they don't find. And what about after regular hours? Are you going to hire extra people to work 24/7? Consider MessageFlex. It's an automated monitoring software that can be your extra set of virtual eyes that never sleeps, never takes vacation, and keeps a lookout for you 24 hours a day. MessageFlex can notify you of events without having to be anywhere near a console. You can set up filters to only notify you of those specific events you want to know about, so you can take action before they turn into problems. If you're expecting end-of-day reports to finish at 6:30 but don't receive notification, you may want to follow up and check on it. At its most basic level, MessageFlex can monitor the system and program messages and notify you when specific messages are identified. Since MessageFlex is looking, that means you don't have to have a person sitting at a console looking for messages. MessageFlex will tell them when there's a message. It'll send it by email or text message directly to your cell phone so that you can proactively respond. MessageFlex automates the tedious tasks of looking for those messages that you really are hoping they're not going to find. If it discovers one, you can filter and decide whether it should notify you, a group of people, or whomever you've assigned to be notified. With the release of MessageFlex 2.0, in addition to monitoring for message queues for system and program messages, you can now also monitor job queues to notify you if there's a backlog when too many jobs are running or if they're running too long. You can monitor subsystems and alert you if they're active or not. For example, is SpoolFlex running? You can monitor for a specific job and let you know if it's running or not, or again, running too long. If you have a nightly backup that's supposed to be completed by 2 o'clock in the morning and it hasn't finished, you may want to be alerted and have someone dial in and make sure there's nothing wrong, that it's not hung up, so that when people come in the next morning, there's no issues. You don't have everyone screaming and hollering to get the system back up and running. Another facet of the document management, have you ever wished that your reports had more relevant information? Maybe less information. This goes back to the big data. If you're getting too much information, wouldn't it be nice to dice and slice it in such a way that you're only getting the information that's relevant to your particular tasks at hand? DBX Flex is the answer. It allows you to create your own custom reports from database files on the IBM system. Unlike SpoolFlex, which works with spool files generated by your applications, DBX Flex lets you create custom reports by selecting records from one or more database files that meet your specific conditions. Select the fields you want in rows and columns directly from the IBM database. It's easy to use and reasonably priced for unlimited users. DBX Flex provides an inexpensive alternative to overly complicated query tool options. DRV's philosophy and focus on the IBM i platform has been rewarded with over 1,600 software installations since opening our doors in 2002. It's an impressive list. We'd love to add your organization's name. Our customers range from small family-owned businesses to Fortune 100 international corporations. So whether your business is finance, manufacturing, distribution, or even a government agency, FlexTools can help you save time and money for a small investment. If you'd like to take a shot at converting your own reports or setting up report and document management, we offer a free 15-day trial with free support and technical assistance. It takes about 10 minutes to install. In less than 30 minutes, we can have you start monitoring your system, converting your reports, and sending out emails. We also provide unlimited in-house technical support to assist you. If you want help installing the software, our team is here to help. If you're trying to learn how to convert one of your reports to Excel, that's what they do. They will be happy to sit down and go through the software step by step to show you how it's done. When you call DRV, we're a different kind of software company. We answer the phones with live people, not voicemail trees. We work with you to answer your questions and help you quickly determine how the software works. All of our support and development are located right here in our corporate headquarters in Atlanta, Georgia. So you won't get forwarded from one person to another in different call centers in different countries. We also have an online library with access to quick start guides, tutorials, how-to documents, even recorded videos showing you step by step how to use our software. There's even online help within the software itself. That's to the end of our presentation today. We would be opening up the session here for questions in just a moment, but first I'd just like to thank you again for taking time to join us. We really appreciate it. We know you're busy, and we hope that you've seen something of interest here with our automating processes. I'll be opening up the door here for questions in just a moment, but if you are interested in arranging a closer look, keep in mind we do offer additional online demonstration capabilities, as well as, of course, the free evaluation software. I encourage you to try it. It's a great tool, and it's no obligation. If it works, great. If it doesn't, no problem. There, again, it's no obligation at all. Thank you again for joining us. I'll open the door for questions.